YouTube, what's going down? I'm finally filming a video in my actual room. It's been quite some time since I've filmed somewhere so intimate. So, welcome to my room. It's where all the magic happens. In my magic, I mean me reading the Hunger Games in my room by myself. But in fact, this video is about making magic, if that's what you want to call it. I prefer to call it making out, but this is more about me striking out. Hopefully through my scarring wounds, you'll be able to take some of that and learn from it and do what you will with that. So with that being said, making out in general is like the eighth wonder of the world to me. I think it's awesome and like breathtaking, and then when you see it, or do it in this case, you don't want to forget it. Just like the Seven Wonders. Tried to bring that back there. But as far as I can remember and as close to puberty as possible, I've just always thought making out was awesome. First and foremost, before I go into my make-out rejection stories, I need to make sure you understand what is important while you're making out. I learned by watching two girls make out in the movie Cruel Intentions. Although it's incredibly sexy and an awesome movie, it also does give you some really good tips on how to make out. If you want to be good at it, it's a combination of a few things. Number one is understanding your own style. I'm a two open mouth kiss to one tongue ratio. I've thought about this before, and while I was making out with someone, I actually counted in my head, how often do I throw tongue out, and how often do I just go for the open mouth kiss? But you don't want to be slinging tongues the whole time. We're not lizards playing foosball with our tongues. You know, that old saying. Oh shit, she made out like a lizard playing foosball with her tongue. The point is, you need to understand your own style before you jump in to make out with somebody else. But the other half is adapting to their style. This is a give and take, people. We're playing some tonsil hockey right now. You don't want to be holding the puck for too long. I'm just gonna keep throwing analogies out that just don't make any sense. And I think lastly and most importantly is just don't shove your tongue down their throat, and also don't have a hard tongue when you're exchanging tongues. You're just gently massaging tongues. I don't know why I giggle like this while I'm talking about it, but it just brings me so much joy. My big problem is that I can never read when someone wants to make out. I just don't have that ability. You could be hitting on me so hard and I would just not know that you want to make out. And vice versa, I'm not very good at reading people. I just think everyone feels the way I do all the time. And apparently in these two situations, that was not the case. So I'm gonna fill you in on a little secret in regards to my making out abilities. And that thing is, I can't put a move on you unless I state that I'm gonna put a move on you. I think it stems from a combination of fear of rejection and just not knowing what the fuck is going on. So the first time I'm gonna put a move on a girl, I will always say, I really want to kiss you right now. Or if I'm feeling bold, we should make out right now. And this tends to work more often than not, I think for two reasons. One, it takes some pressure off of me because now I'm not the only one that has to put the move down. We both have to engage in this act. And two, because the girl sees that as being very forward and being very bold, manly. And little does she know, I'm just a big pussy. Point is, only 2 times in my life have I not exclaimed that we should make out, or I'd like to make out with you, or I'd like to kiss you before going in for it. And those 2 times were the times that I got rejected so badly. Story number 1 happened about 9 months ago, and it's just so corny too. I was out at a bar with this girl that I knew, and we were friends and stuff, but I'd always had this kind of sneaky interest in her that I had not really put out there yet. And it was her and I sitting at the bar, and we were talking about stuff, and I was really flirting really hard. I was trying my best, at least. And for me, flirting, I don't do it very well. I always just try to be funny, and I just go too far, talk about fart jokes and poop jokes, and girls don't tend to want to hear that prior to making out. But I'm putting my best poop and fart jokes out for this girl. And as we're in the conversation, I'm feeling pretty confident, and she's talking about how her and her friends have this saying, and it's not YOLO, but it's essentially YOLO. Basically, I don't know what the saying is anymore, but it's you only get one shot, so make sure you go for it. And in my head, I'm thinking, she's telling me this so that I know, this is your shot, dude, go for it. So in order to play this out as corny as possible, I'm wait, what's that saying one more time? And she repeats it. And so in my own wild brilliance, I repeat it back to her. You only get one, you only get one shot. I'm going for it. I said it really trying to be smooth and just went to plant one on her. And I don't think I've seen anyone like jump, like she literally put her arms like out, like to like push me away. But the worst part isn't just getting rejected. The worst part's answering the question, what the fuck do I do now? At least when you ask a girl to make out or you say, I think we should make out, you can pretend like you were joking. The cheesiness of my delivery was just on point where there's absolutely no way it could not have been real. So that rejection was pretty bad. But then I had a friend like a couple weeks later coming in from out of town to come visit me. Now this was a lady friend and we had like dated in like 8th grade when nothing matters. And I think we like made out like in 8th grade and I definitely like asked her to make out back then. But it's been like years since we, you know what I mean? We've been friends for a very long time. I had definitely been friend-zoned. But me not being able to read her at all just decided this is gonna be the perfect time. But for my favor, the cards were stacked for me. She was driving in from out of town by herself, staying with just me, and the whole first day, I thought we were like vibing. As it turns out, what I think is vibing is just two people being friends. And as the day goes on, even like we're walking on the beach and it's like doing romantic kind of things. I was like, oh man, like this is really going way better than I thought. Maybe I'm not in the friend zone anymore. It gets to be nighttime and I'm a gentleman and I say to her, you know what, you take my bed, I'll go sleep on the couch. We're all good. And then she says to me, you know, Tyler, you don't need to sleep on the couch. I mean, if you want to sleep in the bed too, like, you can. Hindsight is 2020. I now know she was inviting me in there like a little brother would sleep with you at nighttime. But in my brilliant skull, I'm thinking that, oh wow, this means we are going to make out. And when I say make out, I truly do mean just make out. I'm very rarely like just interested in like having sex with somebody. Like, making out tends to just be my end goal. So we're in bed and we're laying down and we're like not touching. It's one of those situations where like you're not talking, but in your head you're saying so much to yourself. Like you're talking to yourself like you're a coach. All right, Ty, on 3, we're gonna plant 2 on her, on 2, ready, 1, 2, 3, break. You gotta like psych yourself up. And without any warning, I just went over and like planted one on her. I just realized like this motion made it look like I'm fucking doing like a suplex WWE style jumping off the ropes. I don't know what a suplex is. Is it a suplex or a suplex? Anyway, I plant one on her and immediately I knew this is not gonna go well because I didn't feel like anything back. And so I pull away just like Elaine does in Back to the Future when she kisses her son, Marty McFly. You're just like, oh no, I know I've just done something wrong. And she looks at me and just says, so how do you feel about that? Well, I did feel pretty great about it until just about 5 seconds ago. I very much read into that the wrong way, and luckily we were able to salvage that friendship out of the dust of my idiocracy. And although both those times were incredibly scarring, what I'm trying to say to you is that I'm still here. And it doesn't matter if you're a guy, if you're a girl, the point is, in your life, you are absolutely gonna get rejected. And there's really 2 ways you can take it. You can either think, what's wrong with me? I must be so ugly, or I must not be good enough at talking to girls, or I must not be cool enough, or whatever your bullshit reason is. Or you can go with what's probably the truth, and that is, maybe this situation just isn't meant to happen. And trust me, I know it's very, very hard. A lot of times you think you really like someone, or you do just really like someone. Just because you like them or you think that you like them, which it tends to be more often than not, it doesn't mean that what you think you like is going to work. Because at the end of the day, you want to be with someone that loves you equally back and like wants you enough back. And I know it's cliche, I know like your parents say it and shit, but it's their loss. And all you have is to gain from it because now you know you're basically just one step closer to that next makeout now. I had a buddy who was a stat major in college, and while he was in college, he did a study on himself to see how many times he'd have to get rejected in order to actually pick up a girl. And his ratio ended up being he'd get rejected 9 times before he'd end up getting a girl that was like interested in like making out with him. I said to him once, I was like, dude, does it ever get like discouraging? I mean, you're basically saying like, you're gonna get rejected tonight 9 times. He just said back, nah dude, like every rejection I get is just one step closer statistically to me finding this girl. And I'm not saying you just go and just try to make out with any random person you see. What I'm saying is rejection doesn't kill you. And the hardest thing of all, but the most important thing of it all, is just to not take it personally. So here's my question to you is, if you're trying to put a move on someone and you get rejected, do you think you should ever try to go back and try to put a move on them again? Or do you think if you get rejected, it's just a one and done situation? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single one of them. Also guys, you can follow me on my Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. It's all in the description below. And be sure to subscribe. Or just click the like button too. That really lets me know that you like what I'm doing. Alright guys, with that, I love you. I'm in love with you.